up, everybody? My name is Logan Stroll. Welcome to CTF Stroll Talks Football. Sorry that there was no video yesterday. Yesterday I was trying to film and this here mic was like not working, like the audio wasn't working at all. Just to find out today when I came over, my mic was on mute. I'm still new to this, guys. Like, we all make mistakes as we go. Like, I apologize, so now we're rolling again. So today I'm going to give you guys my divisional round NFL reactions. This was definitely a crazy playoff weekend. There was a lot of good games this weekend, finally. And there was a lot of things I did not see coming. So let's not waste any more time. This was a really crazy week. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, turn on notification bells so you don't miss any of my videos whenever I post. With all that out of the way, let's get started. Alright, the first game we've got is the Texans at the Chiefs. And yeah, looking at this game wasn't totally rigged or anything. Like, there weren't any bad calls that completely favored the Chiefs or anything. Nothing like that. It's not like Mahomes tried to flop almost every play he was running the ball. It's not like there was tons of stupid roughing the passer calls and tons of unnecessary roughness calls that completely favored the Chiefs. Like, it's not like they point the camera at Taylor Swift and Caitlin Clark like every 10 to 15 seconds. Like, nothing like that. Just a calm NFL game. I'm kidding. This game was fucking rigged, and I'm tired of seeing Taylor Swift on screen. Anyway, let's go to the Texans. CJ Stroud, he played a pretty good game. 19 for 28, 245 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, but other than that, he was pretty clean. Looking at the rushing, Joe Mixon led with 18 carries for 88 yards and a touchdown. And then the receiving, even though it was led by Nico Collins with 5 receptions for 81 yards, nobody got a touchdown on the day. And looking at the Texans defense, like, Will Anderson had a great game, 2 sacks, and he made a huge impact on this game. And other than that, like, other than a sack by Tommy Togai, like, the Texans defense, like, they made stops, like, on defense, but other than that, they didn't get any more sacks or interceptions, like, nothing major. Alright, now looking at the totally not blessed, totally not rigged Chiefs, Mahomes, he was pretty good, 16 for 25, 177 yards, 1 touchdown, no turnovers. The rushing was terrible, other than Kareem Hunt having a rushing touchdown. The receiving was dominated by Travis Kelce with 7 receptions, 117 yards, and a touchdown. And then when you look at the Chiefs defense, you will get a really good idea of, like, why the Texans lost other than the game being rigged. The Texans offensive line allowed 8 total sacks. Like, I know the offensive line for the Texans was horrible this season, but, like, this is their magnum opus. Like, 8 sacks, 3 of them by George Karlaftis. Like, that's insane. Like, that's terrible. So as much as I want to be salty and say this game was completely rigged, even though it almost was, like, this was a huge reason why the Texans lost this game, other than them playing dumb in the fourth quarter, is the fact that they allowed 8 sacks during the game. Like, that does not do wonders for anybody. So yeah, I guess good game for Kansas City, and they are now in their 7th straight AFC Championship. Yay. Alright, next game we have was the Commanders at the Lions, and before I say anything, like, I wanted to apologize to the Commanders and to the fans for having any sort of doubt in this team. I'm sorry I had them only scoring 17 points against the Lions. Like, as soon as I watched this game, like, I just looked like a clown. Like, these guys played an amazing game, and you shut these delusional Lions fans up, man. Great game. But yeah, this was an absolute bonkers game to watch. Like, both teams had really great plays from both sides of the ball. Looking at the Lions here first, Jared Goff, I mean, he threw for 313 yards, but other than that, he did not have that good of a game. 23 for 40, 1 touchdown, 3 picks. Like, that's not good at all. And then looking at the rushing, Jahmyr Gibbs absolutely dominated with 14 carries, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jameson Williams did have a sick jet sweep play for a carry for 61 yards and a touchdown. That was dope. And then looking at the receiving, like, Amon-Ra St. Brown led with 8 receptions for 137 yards, as well as Jahmyr Gibbs having 6 receptions for 70 yards, but nobody got a touchdown other than Sam Laporta having a sick one-handed catch. That was pretty dope too. But looking at the Lions defense, like, they couldn't do anything. Like, the Commanders offense was just rolling all game long. Now, looking at the Commanders here, Jaden Daniels had a phenomenal game. 22 for 31, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. To the people that doubted me for putting him in the elite column in my tier list for quarterbacks, like, this is why. Like, his ability as a rookie to control this team, to make them go distances that we never thought they were going to go, is honestly astounding. And he's playing elite ball at the same time. Like, this is why I put him in elite. And then looking at the rushing, Brian Robinson had a pretty decent game with 15 carries for 77 yards and 2 touchdowns, as well as Jeremy McNichols also had a rushing touchdown. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. And then looking at the receiving, Diami Brown led with 6 receptions for 98 yards but no score. But Terry McLaurin had 4 receptions for 87 yards and a touchdown, as well as Zach Ertz having a receiving touchdown. And looking at the defense here, they were able to make plays all over the place. Mike Sarain still had 2 interceptions, one of them being a pick 6. Jeremy Chin had an interception. Like, Quan Martin had an interception. Like, they were playing some amazing football. Like, you have to give credit to the defense as well. So, yeah, who could have thought that the Commanders, who were like the second worst team in football last season, was going to turn it around and make it all the way to the NFC Championship? Because I sure as hell didn't. So, great game by the Commanders. I hope you guys make it to the Super Bowl. You guys are a really fun team to watch. And I hope you guys beat up Philly, because those fans need to shut up too, man. Because, oh my God, are they annoying. Alright, next game we had was the Rams at the Eagles. And I'm not going to lie, other than it showing that it was a close game and it was a pretty decent scoring game, this game was not fun to watch. Like, this was kind of boring. Like, it was a turnover battle, like the whole game, just because it was just heavy snow. Like, it wasn't fun to watch, and honestly, I did not want the Eagles to win, and they ended up winning, so it made it not as fun. So looking at the Rams here, Stafford did all he could, honestly, other than his completion attempt ratio not being the greatest. He did have 324 yards and 2 touchdowns. Looking at the rushing, Kyren Williams had a great game for 19 carries for 106 yards. And then receiving was led by Puka Nacua with 6 receptions for 97 yards, no score. But Tyler Higbee and Colby Parkinson both had receiving touchdowns. Look at these stats here. Like, there's really nothing bad except, like, the main issue was just fumbles. Like, almost every player, like, fumbled. Like, fumbles was just such a big part of why the Rams lost this game. Just, I know it was bad weather, but, man, they just could not keep the ball in their possession. And then looking at the Rams defense, other than Jared Verse having an amazing game, like, there was really nothing to write home about. Like, the Rams defense just couldn't do anything. Alright, now looking at the Eagles, Jalen Hurts did not play his best ball at all. Like, it might show like he was decently clean stat-wise, but if you watched him play, like, he just can't throw under bad weather like this. Like, it's just been proven many times. Like, 15 for 20, 128 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Like, I like Jalen Hurts, but the amount of times Eagles fans overrate the shit out of this dude, like, he's one of the most overrated quarterbacks in football. That's just me, though. Alright, looking at the rushing, this is where it gets interesting. Saquon absolutely carried this team. 26 carries for 205 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Hurts did have a great rushing game with 7 carries for 70 yards for a touchdown. Like, that was really good, but again, my point still stands on Jalen Hurts. But this is one point I will make about the Eagles going forward. If you guys don't have Saquon going absolutely off and carrying your team to victory, you guys are screwed. Like, I know A.J. Brown's a great receiver, as well as Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert's finally back, but Jalen Hurts just has not been the same, and like I said before, every year he seems like to decline more and more. Without Saquon, you guys are screwed. And then looking at the receiving, Dallas Goedert led with 4 receptions for 56 yards and no score. And then looking at the defense, they played pretty solid ball. Jalen Carter had an amazing game too with 2 sacks. Like, he played his part really well. But yeah, overall, this was a pretty boring game. But at the same time, in the fourth quarter, it was starting to get a little more interesting. But at the same time, not really much to write home about. Eagles Commanders NFC Championship though, that will be a fun game to watch for sure. All right, and the last game we had was the Ravens at the Bills, and this is one thing I was saying in my head. If Lamar Jackson kept playing like his MVP form, they were going to win this game, and guess what happened? They didn't. Lamar went back to playoff Lamar, and he just shit the bed. Like, he just could not get the ball going most of the time. I don't know how the Ravens lost to the Chiefs last season. They beat themselves. You want to know how they lost this game? Again, they beat themselves. That's the only reason they've been losing these close playoff games. They've been beating themselves every single time. And also, Mark Andrews sold the game. But other than that, like, they just cannot get out of their damn heads. Like, they could not play their form of football. Now, looking at the Ravens here, Lamar, like, he did not play his best game. 18 for 25, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Like, he just could not get out of his own head. Looking at the rushing, Derrick Henry was able to do somewhat of his part. 16 carries for 84 yards and a touchdown. And then looking at the receiving, Isaiah Likely led with 4 receptions for 73 yards and a touchdown, as well as Rashad Bateman having 4 receptions for 66 yards and a touchdown. Then looking at the Ravens defense, they were able to make a few stops, but other than that, they really didn't do anything. Like the Bills offense just had their way with the Ravens defense all game long, even though this is supposed to be improved defense. Now looking at the Bills here, Josh Allen, he really didn't have to do much, but when he had to, he was able to get the job done. 16 for 22, 127 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Looking at the rushing, James Cook was pretty decent with 17 carries for 67 yards. But Ray Davis had a rushing touchdown, and then Josh Allen had 2 rushing touchdowns. Then receiving was led by Khalil Shakir with 6 receptions for 67 yards. But other than that, really no touchdowns from anybody on the receiving part. Looking at the Bills' defense, Damar Hamlin had a 6 sack to where it led to a fumble where Von Miller ran it in. Like, that was a sick play. Greg Rosario had a sack. Taylor Rapp had an interception. Like, they made some plays. Like, they played their part. The Bills played some amazing defense. So yeah, this just makes me wonder for Baltimore, when are they finally going to get over that hump to where like they can play their brand of football and stop becoming like this regular season warriors, just like the Niners. It's not like they're the only ones. The Niners do this too, where they basically play amazing football in the regular season, and then when playoff time comes, they just completely shit the bed. Like, when are they going to stop doing this? Like this, they did this against a team that does this as well. The Bills always do it. I'm just saying, great game by Buffalo. I hope they finally get over the hump against the Chiefs. Do not let this sorry-ass Chiefs team make it to the Super Bowl. I beg you. And there you guys have it. Those are my NFL Divisional Round reactions. Sorry if I'm starting to sound a little stuffy. I think I'm starting to get a cold, but other than that, I'm fine. Like hopefully it sounds good now that I found out my mic was on mute the whole damn time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below on how you reacted to that Commanders-Lions games, first of all, and let me know down in the comments if your team is still in the conference championships and the playoffs. I would love to know. That being said, that is where I'm going to be done for the day. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, turn on notification bells so you miss any of my videos whenever I post. I'm Logan Sharon. I'll see you next time.